All right, so I have just really quickly set up a Photoshop document, 800 by 800, and it has some frames here, really simple text, and an ellipse. And what we're going to do in this video is just show you some of the can and cannots with GIF animation in Photoshop. So the first thing you can do is turn the visibility of a layer on and off. So let's say I wanted the circle in this first frame, but I didn't want it in these last three frames. So what I can do is click on the second frame, hold shift and click on that fourth frame, and let's turn the hello layer off just by clicking the little eyeball there. Now, when we play the animation, it only shows up for that first frame. All right, now I'm going to turn those back on. And the next thing you can do is change the position of an object. So let's say we want this circle to start going off the screen. And I'll go to my second frame here, select this. I'm just going to move this over a little bit, go to the third frame, do the same, move it over a little bit more, and then with the last frame, I'm going to move it over a little bit more. Now it will give the appearance that these things are moving off the screen. I'm just going to undo really fast here, and then the next thing we can do is change the opacity of a layer. So we could have it start out really full color, and then we could have it slowly start fading out. So I'm going to go to the second frame. I'm just going to change the opacity to about 75%. And then I'm going to go to the third frame. I'm going to do about 50. And then the fourth frame, I'm going to do about 25%. And now when we start playing the video, it'll start fading out. Command Z, and we're back to where we were originally. Now the next thing you can do is change the blending mode of a layer. Let's say I wanted to add a background, and I'm just going to click a random color here, and using just a rectangle tool, going to move this below the layers. Now you'll notice that it applies to all of them, but we can always use the eyeball key to hide those layers. So now if I wanted the pink to blend with that blue, I could go over here to the blending mode options and start clicking these different options. So you'll notice that right now it is retaining that blending mode, and then this one it's back to normal. And so I could change the blending mode here. And each one of these will work. Now the next thing you can do is apply layer styles. I'm going to get rid of this blue layer right now. And let's say I wanted to add a drop shadow to this hello text. I'm going to go down to the FX button and just click on that. And next I'll go to drop shadow. And right now I'll just use the default drop shadow that's set up there. I might make it a little bit darker so you can see it. Make it a little bit bigger as well. So now this drop shadow is applied to the different texts, and then you could do the same thing with this one. You could apply a different layer effect, and so we could do an inner shadow on the circle layer, and you'll notice that each one of these is different. All right, and now I'm going to show you some of the things that you cannot do with GIF animation in Photoshop. So let's say we wanted to change this text color. I'm going to just go over to this icon with the T, double click on that, and then I'll go up to this color box and I want this to be black just in this frame. But you'll notice when I say OK and commit that change, it changes all of the frames to black. The same thing will happen if you try to rotate any of your layers. So let's say I wanted to rotate this. You'll notice when I commit the changes, they'll all start rotating. And there is a way to get around this if you wanted to go to this layer and turn it off and then have another layer rotated a different way. But rotations are not awesome in Photoshop for GIF animation. The other thing you cannot do is change the color of your shape layer. So let's see here, I have this selected. Now if I change the color to red, you'll notice that all of these change. I'm going to undo that really fast, and then let's say I wanted to start the circle smaller and have it grow over time, but you'll notice when I start scaling down the circle, it will apply to the rest of the images. So just remember, when you're working with GIF animation in Photoshop, you can turn the visibility on and off, you can change the position, you can change the opacity, you can change the blending modes and layer styles, but some of the other techniques you can use when working with GIF animation, you can use the brush tool. So you could use the brush tool on any of your layers. I'm just going to create a new layer here and use the brush tool. You'll notice it will apply to all of them, but I can go through and turn them off, and then I could paint something different on the next layers. You can also bring in images. So I have these ice cream cones here, and let's just bring in that image. And it will apply to all of the images, but same thing, you can go in and you can change the position of it in that second frame, you could change the opacity, you could turn that layer off. So there's a lot of different things you can do with your different layers. You can bring images in, you can actually start to bring video in. There are just so many different things that you can do with GIF animation, and the possibilities are endless.